Hi, I'm Danny Ramos, and welcome to this week's edition of Hispanic Speak Out TV. We have been on TV first with originally Time Warner, and then Bright House, and now Spectrum. So we've been on the air for a good 18 years, I think, here locally, sending shows over to the cable networks for exposure, and also we're on YouTube. We have the great pleasure today of talking to Senator Victor Torres, an icon in the Hispanic community in Central Florida. If something's going on Hispanic in Central Florida, Victor Torres knows about it. So Victor, you just came back from Tallahassee, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on in Tallahassee, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So where do you want to start with what's going on there?
Well, we finished session with a budget of $100 billion, which will help a lot of families, a lot of tax breaks for businesses and for holidays, families, school shopping, and hurricane preparedness. That's good. But we also face, because of the pandemic, the issues of unemployment. And we wanted to increase the unemployment benefits by $100 in the Senate to get them from $275 to at least $375 a week for those who are still unemployed. Unfortunately, in the House, we sent it to the House and the House didn't accept it. So it came back. They killed it over there and just kept it at $275, and that was it. With no additional weeks, I believe that was added the way we wanted to add some more weeks to the unemployment. This all comes straight from the governor's office as well. This governor has been very detrimental. You know, that bill HB1 on the protesters, and this came from the like number one priority from the governor. And as a former law enforcement officer, I said, look, we need to look at it in a different perspective, because there are laws on the books for rioting, property damage, physical assaults. There's laws that protect, businesses and individuals, from getting hurt, or somebody doing this type of crime. On the other side, you have the protesters. I have been a protester. I have marched with labor. I have marched with farm workers. I have marched with parents.
So where's the definition of when a police officer can arrest a person for what?
Well,
because there seems to be controversy on that definition.
Committing the act, I mean, like myself, if you see somebody breaking into a car or throwing a missile or something to hurt somebody, you observe that, you see it. But in a huge protest atmosphere, you have people walking, demonstrating, getting a message out. How whatever it is that they're protesting, they want to get a message out to government. Or to any other entities, to let them know how they feel. But when you put laws like this, and then in the laws it states that you could drive into a crowd and not be subject to punishment. Could you just picture that? I mean, can you picture?
I'm waiting for you to finish it off, but I just don't know. I can picture it. So what are they saying about that?
That it's okay that, they're not liable. Like if they,
not liable, the driver?
the person coming into the crowd. If you're demonstrating on a roadway, right, with a group of people, and somebody's coming down and they say, I am annoyed that they're blocking the road and this guy drives his car into the crowd, they're saying he's not liable.
I don't understand the rationale or the reason for that. I don't know. Did they legalize marijuana over there or what? Because I just don't see it. Well, how can that be?
That's one of the issues that HB1.
I wanted to go back a little bit where you were talking about the unemployment thing.
Yeah.
So they wanted. They don't want the increase from $275. How the hell does somebody live on $275?
I don't know. I did it years ago. I filed for unemployment, and they offered 275, and I said 275, and they said, yeah, it was a company that I was working for, but ever since Jeb Bush closed the labor department where you walked in to file for unemployment, and everything went into online, calling a number, getting registered, and all that. It's always made it complicated and worse. That's why you get many people who don't file for unemployment.
You know something, I was really impressed with the way the DMV handled their situation with COVID. Because they had everybody, Jesse would make an appointment for me online, right? 2:00. I'd be there at 2:15 and they were waiting for me.
Yeah.
They had me on a list. Why can't they do that with unemployment? I mean, I know it's a lot of people, but so DMV is a lot of people. And they have it structured, the DMV has it structured in a way that you get serviced right away. You know, they roll it out.
Yeah.
With unemployment being so important, particularly to minority groups, you know, who are economically under pressure to begin with, you know, how could they hold something for 275?
Because they feel that they want you to get back to work. They wanted to discourage you, Danny. It's about putting folks who are voiceless, folks who are their wages are low, and telling them, no, we want you to go back into the workforce and still get paid low wages with no benefits, no full-time job, you know, 30 hours, 25 hours. And you know, Danny, most of these folks were working already 2 or 3 jobs.
Yeah, to survive they have to because they're doing minimum wage.
And that was my point.
Yeah.
That people were just barely surviving because they had to keep a roof over their head, food on their table for their families, for their kids. One car, mostly in a family, you know, to get back and forth. But this is why we thought there was going to be more negotiations in getting this through for DEO, and DEO is still having issues. I mean, they got a budget of $73 million to upgrade their system. It's going to take them around 2 years to upgrade their system. So in the meanwhile,
2 years is a long time to wait for a check.
And if they say you didn't fill in your quota, Danny Ramos, you're not entitled to unemployment check.
Yeah, I was talking to a person who was a waitress in a restaurant. Now, you know that they make a lot less. They don't make minimum wage. They make a lot less, and they got to do it on tips.
Right.
So, you know, I'm hearing on the radio, on different news programs on the radio, that all of these jobs are available in restaurants. But you can't survive based upon the tips because the restaurants haven't fully come back yet. And a lot of people, like, I will hesitate to go into a crowded restaurant. You know, I don't. You know what I mean? If I go into a restaurant, it's an off day, you know, there's very few people in it.
Right.
So how does a person survive? That's number one. Making the type of wage they make depending on tips.
Right.
So on one side, they're making it sound like people don't want to work.
Yeah.
And that's, they want to work, but they don't want to work for free.
Yeah. The problem we had when the pandemic hit, everybody had to shut down. And so the businesses who shut down reluctantly, you know, they didn't want to shut down. They felt, you know, they didn't need to do this. But the pandemic really caused a panic and workers were exposed. But those workers who are in our supermarkets, who are waitresses, who do service industry, you find that most of those people don't earn much, and they lack benefits. So if they got sick and they call their boss, and their boss said, "Oh, stay home, don't come in because you got COVID 14 days," you know, are they getting paid? Probably not. Would they let them come back in and work? Probably not. Mm-hmm. You know, the bottom line was that to deprive, and then now you hear on the news, oh, they're lazy, they don't want to go back to work. No. First of all, why would I go back to a job that maybe pay me $9, $10 an hour with no benefits, not full time, and leave what I'm getting for unemployment from the federal government and from the state, right? That doesn't make sense. Unless that job says, hey, Danny, I'm going to raise your wages, give you benefits, have you work 40 hours a work week, and give you that extra bonus for coming back to work for me, have an incentive,
Well, it's the profit system to extreme. There's got to be a balance in between all of this, because the same person that I was talking to in the restaurant she's a young woman compared to me, but she had 2 kids, right?
Right.
So, and she told me that, and she was black, and I stayed there till closing time, right? I got in there 11 o'clock because they give little discounts and stuff. So I was.
You're looking for that.
I go in
the senior discount.
Yeah, exactly. I not only go in late at night because I'm the only one sitting on the bar, but so there isn't a crowd there.
Yeah.
But also because they give little incentives when you get your empanadillas and stuff like that. But when they closed, I paid my tab, and I saw her sweeping the floor.
Stop, baby. This is yours?
Yeah.
It's by the box.
They may be at the front door. I don't know. We'll call them back. Do you want me to continue?
Yeah, restart that sentence.
What was the sentence? Okay, I'll get.
They give you incentive when you're sitting on the floor.
Yeah. So this lady started to. She was finished with the night. She got whatever tip she was going to get. She finished, right? And then I saw her, and she was cleaning the floor. And I'm saying, why are you cleaning the floor of your waitress? She says, because they require us to do that. I got another 2 hours to go, or an hour and a half,
Sure.
because they use all the waitresses and waitresses to clean the floor. I said, it's great. You get paid? She said, no. So the employers, and this is a chain restaurant, they don't pay the employees for that extra 2 hours a night to clean up.
And that's the abuse that they're not aware of. And, sadly, they're the ones who under the rescue plan will probably get extra money to keep workers working, to help their businesses. But the bottom line, it goes into their pocket, Danny. Come on,
Absolutely.
This is not like people say, oh, they don't want to come. No, it's because the people who do that job know what they were exposed to. And it was unfair how they were treated, just like those who worked in the supermarkets. I mean, you got to give everybody that worked in with the pandemic. I mean, I don't care. And they had to cut the hours because make sure that their people were safe, and they had to clean the store again, for the next day and everything else. Who did we depend on? We depended on services to come deliver stuff to our homes because nobody wanted to go back out. Mm-hmm. Right? So you call all these different agencies that deliver food, deliver groceries, deliver anything you needed, right? Because you didn't want to go back out. You didn't want to get exposed. Who was doing that? Who was driving transportation in the city? The bus drivers, links.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, we got 1 minute before the segment. Go ahead.
Okay. No, but I'm saying the bottom line was that there was no help for those who are needed. And now that the companies are facing not enough workers, I went to a restaurant in Tallahassee, and the lady said to me, we don't have enough workers. We can't,
Well, the next question is, how are you paying them?
And
how are you taking care of them?
That's
All right?
and that's the point.
We're going to take a break, Senator. All right, we're going to take a break right now. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, slap a commercial in there for something. We have to do a commercial for the minority business construction thing. Hi.
Do you want to do one more segment?
Do you want to do another segment?
I don't mind.
Then here's what you should need to talk about the elections bill.
Yeah.
You can talk about the pension and the union bill and talk about gaming, because that will be next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
The game may be next week.
Okay, it's not going to hit till next week, right?
Right, that's
Okay,
fine.
all right,
It'll be after the gaming, that we'll be talking about the board
Okay.
session.
all right, okay. You ready?
Ready.
Call it gambling.
Gambling. Yeah.
Rolling, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, this is Danny Ramos, and welcome back. In case you're just tuning in, I am sitting with Senator Victor Torres, and we're talking about what was accomplished, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the last legislative session, which just ended. So, Victor, we were talking about, we want to close off on the issue of people's wages and some of the unfairness that's going on.
Right.
Just so that you know, we talked a little bit about how waitresses and waiters have to clean up the restaurant, even though they're not getting paid for that, you know, and they might have to spend an extra 5 to 10 hours a week cleaning up without no consideration. But anyway, we covered that. Where do we want to go now? We want to talk about.
Well, we're talking about now some bad bills that were introduced in the legislature. One was Senate Bill 78, the dues and uniform allowment that when you work the public sector, if you join a union, you have dues taken out from your paycheck. So somebody in Tallahassee said, "Oh, we need to kill this and let them pay or the union on their own. You know, not the dues check off." Mm-hmm. Which mean if you had 2,000 employees, teachers or something like that, will be affected by this. We had, in our committee, we had teachers from all over the state testify against this bill. And they were Republicans. And they were telling the sponsor of the bill, Senator Rodriguez, and other senators that were in the committee, that they come from their district, that they didn't want this bill to pass. We could have killed it in committee. The only two Democrats in the committee is myself and Senator Stewart.
How many people on the committee?
There were 6.
Sounds like Custer's last stand.
It's a one-sided issue.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah,
you know. But the bottom line is, it got voted out of committee. Not with our help. We voted against it. But then it kept on being pushed for the next committee, the appropriations and everything. Finally, it was going to go to the Rules Committee, and it got stopped because we had another bill that was the pension bill. That's pension bill is 84, which is taking away your right to join the FRS. And in our committee again.
What is the FRS so people know?
The federal, what is that? Florida Retirement System.
Okay.
So this is something that even I joined when I was working for the state, and we still have it. So what happened was they were eliminating for any new employees to enroll in the FRS and go with the 401k. In my committee, the Government Oversight Committee, I asked, where is the manager for this fund? Why isn't he here to testify before us? If there's a problem with the fund, I want to hear about it. Mm-hmm. So the chair person said, we don't need to have him here. We don't need to hear from him because he wants to keep his job. And I was like, are you kidding me? You know, Danny, the fund does 82% in profits. 82%. Unheard of. In pension. Why would you change it to a 401k where you don't know if the stock market is going to go up, going to go down, going to crash? And
they're steering in a direction to benefit somebody personally or a personal group.
Thank you very much.
Rather than do it, in a way that benefits the community.
That's the whole thing. Fortunately for us, I made it a project to talk to personally some of the Republican senators, and they came through. All we needed was 4 senators to stop these bills, mm-hmm. and they stood with us. I said, you're hurting working people. Yeah. You're hurting your own constituents, people who every day get up and do the job. There's no need for this. We were fortunate to stop those bills. The other bill was Senate Bill 90, which is the elections, bill, and that was another back and forth. Why it wasn't needed? We had millions of people voted because of the pandemic, voted by mail. They had drop
What are
boxes.
they trying to do? Eliminate mailings or eliminate the box or something about
No,
box?
yeah,
Drop
there are drop boxes. You need to have somebody standing in front of the drop box to witness you dropping it. They wanted you, if you were dropping a vote by mail, you had to fill out a form to ascertain that you were the person on the ballot. So we asked, well, okay, I got my wife, I got my mother-in-law, I got my granddaughter, I got my la familia,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They all vote,
Yeah.
and I'm dropping their ballots. Oh no, you got 2, and they wanted for you to fill out a form. But we got finally, they decided not to have that. The issue is this is happening in the South, in every state, Georgia, Texas, Virginia. I mean, you name it. And the Republicans have made it a pattern of denying gente like us, Puerto Riqueño, Hispano, Moreno, the minority groups, from exercising our right. And they're making it like you have to re-register to vote.
So I just got my card from Seminole County because I just moved to Seminole County.
What party?
I'm going to send you guys a copy, okay? I'm going to send you a copy. I got to tell you a story, because I do some stuff with Darren Soto, right? So Darren didn't, when I went to vote, and I don't care. I was there. I took a picture of my ballot.
Ballot, yeah.
Right there, I'm not supposed to do that, but I took a picture of the ballot and I texted to Darren.
Yeah.
So he said, "Thank you, explanation."
I've had people do that. People say, "Oh,
But I was registered as a Republican. Then.
Yeah. Well,
so,
to me is I don't care how you register. All I care about is your right to vote, and you exercise. And this state had no problems in voting, even though we didn't get who we wanted to get elected as president in this state of Florida. But it was a decent, honest people went out and vote, took their time. They went out there, and and now these bills are coming up to stop.
is the House Republican controlled?
Yeah,
Okay, what about the Senate?
yeah,
Both.
yeah. Both.
And the governor.
And the governor.
So you got a heavy weight to carry.
It's like it's painful. I mean, it's.
But you want to know something? There's a lot of social change going on in the state of Florida. So I think that there's a possibility the movement is going to change, and the mood is going to change in Florida.
That's why they're passing these bills.
Yeah.
That's why they're passing these bills, because they're seeing
preventing it.
they see the change coming.
Yeah.
They see the young women coming out and voting, the moms who have children, the schools that need help. That's why they're changing this whole system. They want to eliminate the power of our society.
Yeah. And you know that demographically the Hispanic community is the only community in positive birth rate. So we are the only community that's growing in population. Okay, the other groups are not growing in population. We're the only major.
Well, the
group.
census already proved that, because we're having redistricting, and they said here in Central Florida we
It's always
have
been a battle in Central
we have
Florida.
grown, and there's a possibility of another congressional seat here in Central Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I think Osceola County, my county, has grown. As a senator, I represent 470,000 folks, Orange and
So you
Osceola.
got a piece of Orange.
Piece of Orange and all of
And
Osceola.
all of Osceola.
470,000. But I guarantee you now, it's no more 470,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like a congressional seat, 700,000 people or more, right? And that's where the representation, the growth has continued. It has continued since 2017. Maria struck, and a lot of families came over. A lot of families from the Northeast moved down, to make Florida their home, to start a new life and to have a new career. That's the other issue that I have is affordable housing. Are we providing
That's a big problem now.
affordable housing? And it's not happening. And this session they took money out of affordable housing.
There was, Victor, there was maybe 2 years ago, there was gonna be a project in Osceola County to build affordable housing.
Yeah.
And then it died.
It died because I couldn't get, I had the help of Mayor Alvarez, who was
Yeah,
the mayor.
right. Yeah, he was.
Jose Alvarez,
Yeah.
and we had the acreage, 20 acres, and we were working with public, private, to build affordable housing. I asked in Tallahassee, let me have $5 million to invest in affordable housing.
They wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't do it. Then I said, well, okay, don't give me $5 million. Give me $800,000 for one building. One building. They said no.
So is that still a possibility to get that acreage? If somebody stepped up to the plate to build it?
Probably.
Then let's talk about that, because
You know,
one of the things that came up with the guys that we were talking about, minority construction, was that particular project. And there were minority companies that said, we could have gotten the financing from that through the big guys,
right.
through the big primary contractors. But they didn't even know about it. So maybe there's something that could be done there.
I'm always open to that. I always, for the nine years that I've been in the legislature, my hope
There is
is
a desperate
Sadowski.
need for housing.
Yeah, we don't, they're building on, right down the road on Weatherby, a complex, apartments. And it says in a big sign, it says luxury apartments. And I went like, you see this?
Yeah.
Luxury apartments.
Yeah.
Not affordable housing.
Yeah.
And not saying we're going to give people the opportunity to move into a decent
I would
place.
love to sit with you guys and talk about that.
We're going to work on
You know,
that. We're going to work
that's-
on
That
that.
seems like a really, really good project, and, we get this summit together with these construction people, and they said also they could get the financing.
I just came from a meeting with
Maybe you don't need government.
with the Puerto Rican Chamber,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a discussion there about that as well. Affordable housing. We have people who are interested in that.
I was the founder of the Puerto Rican Chamber. I bet you didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
Were
was
you?
the founder of that with Gladys Castellero, Manuel Toro, who's gone, from La Prensa, and a couple of other people. But that was in 1996.
Wow.
Wow, he's right.
Wow. Well, that goes to show that how the years have passed, but the problem persists.
Yeah.
And
And that amazes me.
that is sad, because we're talking about people who are working. We are talking families that should be able to afford.
And you want to know something? These guys need to wake up, because without these people, they don't have businesses.
No.
They don't have big corporations. There is no McDonald's without these people.
Thank you.
You eliminate the working class in a McDonald's, and who's going to be doing it?
Yep.
I mean, they're going towards automation, but that's not going to be complete. So, they're kind of not paying attention to the bottom
And
support.
The other bill was HB1,
Okay.
the riot, the bill against protesters. I have been part of protesting, even when I was part of labor. So,
Yeah.
this thing about we can sense when the rioters, no, there are laws already on the books that deal with this stuff.
I would think it was just more of a consolidation, giving more power to break up demonstrations.
Well,
And
that's
demonstrations is what America is all about. I mean, we were founded on demonstrations.
that was the bedrock of
Yeah.
of the unions.
Yeah.
To stand up and protest the 40-hour work week.
Yeah.
The benefits of protecting workers in their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand. I said to them, I says, outside the Capitol doorsteps, you had children demonstrate, March for Our Lives. You had Moms Demand Action, the ones with the assault weapons. You have every group coming out here to protest what you're not doing, and it's still you don't do it. You still don't help out.
There's a reason for that. Control. We ran out of time, Senator, and I really appreciate you coming down. It's been a great interview, and I'd like to do it again, maybe, in 4 or 5, 6 weeks to catch up to all this.
Well, you said the gaming is next week.
No, the gaming is,
We're gonna do it next week.
Yeah, we
We're
can
gonna
do it.
find
We can
out.
do it.
We could talk about
okay.
that.
This is Danny Ramos on Hispanic Speak Out. The senator has another major concept that he wants to convey to the people, and that's the gambling in the state of Florida. So we'll see you next week.